Continue previous story, not what Master Lin was trying to say, but what Master Lin meant. While still with a face full of stress and no will to live, he shared that the world situation had changed. When he was in the Taoist interrogation, he felt it. The disaster he was about to face was twice as big as usual. How would he survive with that one? Hin had no idea how that could happen. Master Lin continued, the lifetime was all over. As Qin heard this, she said, "Why don't they just ask Master Nifin for a solution?" Master Lin's face was immediately happy, as if all the burdens within him had disappeared, burned away by the light of hope. A big smile spread across his face. Moving on to Nifin's house, Nifin was seen making something. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door of his house. When Nifin opened the door, he was surprised to see Master Lin's face, which was stressed and discouraged. Nifin asked what was going on with Master Lin. Master Lin explained that this would probably be the last time he visited Master Nifin. The two of them were now sitting in Nifin's living room. Master Lin shared that he was about to face a disaster. He thought he could not bear it, unless an opportunity arose. Coughing, Master Lin continued he could survive if only he got a treasure. Hearing Master Lin's story, Nifin only responded that how unfortunate Master Lin was. In fear, Master Lin asked Master Nifin if Master Nifin had any ideas. Nifin realized something. Suddenly, he just hugged Master Lin. Of course, what Nifin did left Master Lin full of questions. Nifin said he was sad, but he had no idea how to calm Master Lin down. Since Master Lin's death was imminent, why not just accept it calmly so he would not suffer? His hopes had been shattered and dashed, as his only hope would not help him. With regret and a trembling voice, Master Lin said that he understood. After that, Master Lin was led by Nifin back home. Looking at Nifin's back as she was about to walk him out, Master Lin said to himself if Master Nifin did not want to help him, then he could not force Master Nifin. With the same face as when he came, Master Lin said goodbye to Nifin. But suddenly Master Lin saw something. He had seen Master Nifin sharpening a long stick when he entered. What was it for? Holding up the wand, Nifin said it was used to ward off lightning. Hearing that made Master Lin flinch. Nifin explained that an old tree had been struck by lightning earlier. He thought that if lightning struck the tree in his house and the flames would spread, his house might catch fire, so he made a lightning rod. Seeing that Master Lin showed no signs of interest and was simply silent, Nifin called Master Lin's name. Instantly, Master Lin's face showed a hint of high hopes. Master Lin once again confirmed whether the stick could protect against lightning. Back at the Lin Immortal Palace, it was dark as clouds hung over the entire land. Qin and the other elders were looking up at something above. Qin said that disaster would come soon. The bald elder had no idea if Master Lin could survive at all. Qin explained that Master Lin had always been a scaredy cat. He would not attack if he had no way to survive. He heard that Master Nifin gave him a treasure wand called the Lightning Rod. Perhaps it could help Master Lin from calamity. Master Lin was seen sitting on a pavilion, and what was in focus was his lightning rod placed right above his head like a unicorn. Suddenly, the sky seemed to get angry, lightning thundering everywhere. Master Lin was still sitting and waiting with the iron rod on his head. Suddenly, lightning strikes one after another. For a while, the lightning did not strike Master Lin and only struck right beside him. The lightning continued to strike him, and he seemed to be protected by a barrier. But that scene was just Master Lin's imagination. What was actually happening right now was that he was still waiting. Master Lin said silently that the lightning rod should have the function of protecting something from lightning. He confidently glanced above his head. With the help of Master Nifin's lightning rod, he should be able to avoid lightning. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning came. Everyone looked towards Master Lin. When the lightning came, of course, it instantly struck the iron rod on Master Lin's head. The lightning strike instantly made his body seem as if it would explode. Moving on to the courtyard outside Nifin's residence, the pig monster was awake. He muttered that they were ordered by Day to guard the place. The pig monster vented that they had been abandoned by the author for several chapters and were not given the opportunity to appear. The pig monster was suspicious that their presence this time was the idea of the author who was carrying out a suspicious plan. There was a squirtle lady on the pig monster's head who was always there with him. The pig monster was covered in cold sweat as he imagined Day. The pig monster heard from everyone that Master Nifin loves the eating game. Could it be his turn to be eaten? Squirrel Lady asked the pig monster to be quiet as Master Niffin and Day had come out. Niffin came out of the house with something in his hand. Niffin said that today's weather was perfect for testing the effect of the object. Niffin explained that the purpose of the lightning rod was to channel lightning into the ground through a conductor and that it could protect the house where he lived. That should be the theory, but he was unsure if it would work. He did not want to use the house for the experiment. If he used trees, he was afraid that the surrounding forest would burn down. So he would make a kite to carry the lightning to the kite. But he needed someone to fly the kite. The experiment was so dangerous, he did not know what to do. Day then had an idea. Day said she had a friend who was willing to do it. Niffin was surprised that Day said friend. The pig was already feeling surprise. His feeling was right about the author planning something for him. Immediately, the monster pig and the squirrel lady appeared next to Day and Niffin. Day confirmed it was Mr. Wild Boar. Seeing the pig monster beside her, Niffin immediately screamed in fear. Day tried to calm Niffin down that Niffin could use the pig monster to experiment. Niffin was hesitant, but Day persuaded Niffin not to worry. The monster pig was very kind. Genuinely frightened, the pig monster bowed down several times and hoped that he would not be eaten by Niffin. Day continued that while she still did not understand what Master Niffin wanted to do, the pig monster had a hobby of helping people in trouble. The monster pig could only nod in confirmation of what Day said. With a cruel face, Day whispered to Niffin that the monster pig liked experiments. Let the monster pig fly the kite and receive the lightning. Hearing that he was going to be used to receive lightning, the pig monster was covered in cold sweat. Niffin felt a little scared as this was the first time he had ever teamed up with a monster. Looking at Day, who was chatting with the pig monster, Niffin felt that Day was extraordinary. Not only did she get along with small animals, but she also mingled with monsters. Niffin saw Day as a Disney princess. Niffin leaned over to give the kite to the pig monster. Niffin innocently apologized for troubling the pig monster. The pig monster accepted the kite. With a tearful smile, he felt that it was obvious he was going to die. On the kite was written, "Come here," which would definitely cause trouble later. The monster pig was holding the kite string in his hand as he sat down, his body trembling with fear. He thought that he was not the right person to do that. Niffin and Day were hiding a little further away. Niffin tried to convince the monster not to worry. If all went well, there was nothing dangerous. Day followed with a suspicious smile. The monster was really scared. He felt that things were not going according to plan. The sound of thunder boomed, which made the situation even more chaotic. Niffin realized that the lightning was coming. But suddenly the lightning struck, but not towards the kite, but the lightning struck in a distant place, which was a mountain. The monster was confused because nothing happened. Of course, Niffin also wondered why nothing happened. Niffin wondered why the lightning did not strike the kite. On the pig monster's head was a squirrel woman who said that today's lightning was the heavenly doll lightning. Every injustice has its perpetrator and every debt belonged to the extravagant. Today's lightning would only strike those who were being tested, and it would not strike the pig monster. The pig monster was indeed ecstatic to hear this. He glanced at Niffin and said to himself, if that was the case, Master Niffin's prediction had been wrong. Moving on to the Lin Immortal Palace, it could be seen that lightning was still striking Master Lin fiercely. He was lying helplessly on the pavilion, which caused Kin to panic and call out to his master. Master Lin realized that the lightning rod would not protect him from lightning. He recalled when Niffin gave him the lightning rod. Niffin said that if the lightning rod was still not perfect, he asked Master Lin not to use it for dangerous things. Niffin gave it to Master Lin just for fun. After he finished the product, he would later give Master Lin a new one. Once again, lightning struck Master Lin through the unicorn horn on his head. Again and again, Master Lin was struck by endless lightning. Everyone who witnessed it was in a cold sweat. It was a horrifying sight. Kin told the Grand Elder that this heavenly lightning was twice as powerful as ordinary lightning. Its attack would directly strike the heavenly soul protection. The lightning rod did not protect against the lightning, but showed the direction it would strike. Kin thought that Mr. Niffin was angry because Master Lin asked Master Niffin directly, so Master Lin got his punishment. Master Lin was once again seen struck by lightning, which resulted in the lightning rod being broken off his head. With tears, Master Lin said in his heart whether Master Niffin had given up on him. In the last remnants of his consciousness, Master Lin saw something floating in the air that made him curious. He realized it was a kite, and there was writing on the kite, "Come here." Master Lin realized that it was Master Nifin's handwriting. Master Lin misunderstood. He got up and became revitalized. He thought that Master Nifin had called him. Master Lin cried and said that Master Nifin had not given up on him. His people were happy. They asked Master Lin to leave immediately. Master Lin certainly would not miss the opportunity. He immediately flew to the kite. Back to the monster pig, who was surprised to see something approaching the kite whose thread he was holding. Not only was Master Lin approaching, but lightning was also approaching him. The squirrel lady said that it was Master Lin from Lin's immortal palace. The squirrel lady and the pig monster panicked even more, knowing that Master Lin was approaching. The squirrel lady left the pig monster, not wanting to be struck by lightning. The monster pig was even more panicked. He was upset and yelled that everyone was saying that she was heartless. And it was true. The squirrel lady definitely was heartless. The lightning continued to strike the kite and lead to the pig monster, which made him run to avoid the lightning, while still pulling the kite thread in his hand. Nifin looked happy because finally his kite managed to bring lightning. It was obvious that physics did not lie. By looking at Nifin, Day said that if it was as expected from Master Nifin, the plan was going well. Nifin instantly realized something. If the monster pig kept running, then the experiment would not work. Nifin began to worry. What if the pig monster was injured by the lightning attack? Day, who was behind Nifin, was only excited because she felt that all of Master Nifin's plans always worked. The monster pig continued to run with cries. He begged for help and asked Master Lin not to go near him. Master Lin came closer to grab the kite. He shouted to Nifin he was coming. Master Lin foolishly hugged the kite in the air. Immediately, a lightning bolt struck him, and the resulting electric current traveled through the string and struck the monster pig, which instantly made the pig lose consciousness. Some time passed, the monster pig woke up, and he realized he was still alive. Suddenly, a voice startled him. It was Master Lin. He said that the monster pig had saved him. The two of them sat facing each other. Master Lin thought the monster pig must be the messenger Master Nifin sent to share the pain of the lightning attack. The pig monster had helped him pass the divine test. He was grateful. Hearing Master Lin say that he was the messenger, the pig monster cried. He said to himself that he was not a messenger. He was just a poor victim. Master Lin told the pig monster to just tell him anything if he ran into trouble in the future. He would definitely help, but the pig monster was distressed, wishing in his heart that Master Lin would just leave. He did not want to see Master Lin again. Once again, Master Lin told the monster pig not to worry because the pig's body was fine and only his hands were roasted. The monster pig was surprised to see that his hands were cooked from the lightning attack. Master Lin said goodbye to go back as he was hungry. He once again thanked his savior. After Master Lin's leave, Nifin and Day approached the pig monster. With a smile, Nifin greeted the monster pig as if nothing had happened. Seeing Nifin and Day coming, the monster pig cried even more. Meanwhile, Day was drooling at the smell of grilled meat from the monster pig. Frightened, the monster pig hid behind a tree. Day asked Nifin if the experiment was over. With a smile, Nifin confirmed that it should be over. Hearing that, Day had an idea. If it was indeed over, should they bring him back and cook him? Hearing that he was going to be cooked made the monster pig surprised. Day said that the monster pig's hands looked delicious. Nifin approached the monster pig and asked Day not to joke. Nifin then shook hands with the monster pig. He thanked the pig monster for his contribution. Nifin said that he used to be afraid of monsters. That was the reason why he stayed in the forest and did not interact further. The pig monster just looked at Nifin, questioningly, not understanding. Nifin continued, but now he learned that monsters were able to think and have personalities, and also, Nifin paused his words for a moment, then continued with great enthusiasm. He had no idea that monsters were interested in science as well. Still cheerfully, Nifin told the pig monster that he was a good monster. He had no problem working with him. Nifin gave some medicine for the wound on the monster pig's hand and gave him mustard greens as a sign of gratitude for the help given by the monster pig. Nifin wished the monster pig a speedy recovery. Seeing his master so attentive, Day looked at him with a smile. The monster pig cried as he looked at the mustard greens Nifin had given him, his voice sounding like that of a normal pig. Now the pig was in the cave hiding, and the monsters around him smelled the delicious scent of his burning hands. The seven-tailed was seen standing on a tree branch under the moonlight. Suddenly, Day approached her, which made the seven-tailed happy. The seven-tailed said that she immediately came after receiving a signal from Day. Day did not answer and asked the seven-tailed to be quiet, as it would disturb Master Nifin's rest. The seven-tailed became upset because since knowing the man, Day had never pampered her again. The seven-tailed cried and complained that the creatures in Nifin's backyard were not monsterish at all. They tortured her so much, only Brother Blackie was kind to her. Instead of being pitied or loved, the seven-tailed got a whack from Day, who scolded her for being so lazy. Day also praised the seven-tailed for being almost eight-tailed, so she brought a gift for the seven-tailed. Pulling out the body of the Liu family ancestor, Day said that she had brought a present. The seven-tailed was getting scared and crying, but Day told her not to be too scared. It was the body of the Almighty. She got it from yesterday's walk. Hearing that made the seven-tailed even more frightened. Once again, Day calmed the seven-tailed down. After the seven-tailed absorbed the energy of the Almighty, the seven-tailed would become eight-tailed, and that would help her. The seven-tailed was happy to hear that. Would she become as beautiful and strong as Day? Day confirmed it. The seven-tailed would be just like her. But what Day meant by being like her was being like her serving Master Nifin, not being her beautiful and strong self. Moving on to Master Lin, who was happy. He said that the successful completion of this divine test was a happy moment in the Lin Immortal Palace. In the midst of his flight, he felt that his sect would have a higher influence in the immortal cultivation world. He was the great hero of Lin Immortal Palace, but he was astonished when he saw from a distance. A pavilion in the Lin Immortal Palace was covered in white cloth. The closer he got, the more astonished he became, because it was not just white cloth, but there was a large picture of him displayed. Master Lin finally realized that it was his funeral. The people in the Immortal Lin Palace were crying over Master Lin's passing. They thought Master Lin had died to ashes because he was struck by lightning. Master Lin, who was behind them, was silent and approached them. With the intention of scaring them, Master Lin asked if they were talking about him. Seeing Master Lin made them both scream at the top of their lungs out of fear. Meanwhile, in the dining room, Qin was crying because Master Lin had died. The Great Elder, who was with Qin, said that the Lin Immortal Palace would belong to Xin. All responsibilities in the palace would be Qin's. Still crying, Qin said that he would remember everything that Master Lin taught him. The Great Elder told Xin not to cry anymore, so it was better to eat to make her sadness disappear. Suddenly, Master Lin appeared beside them, suddenly standing up. Of course, Master Lin's presence startled Qin and the Great Elder. They thought it was Master Lin's ghost. Master Lin languidly said that he was not dead. The Great Elder then realized and smiled after finding out the truth. Master Lin was upset that he was only gone for a short while, and they had all planned all this. Did they all want him dead? Master Lin continued to ramble until his drool went everywhere. Qin asked Master Lin not to get angry. They should be able to handle it peacefully. Qin snapped her fingers, which made all the white turn into red to celebrate Master Lin's success. At first, the musicians looked sad in their black and white clothes, but suddenly their clothes also turned all red, and the music became music full of victorious passion. Qin cheered that today was a day of celebration. Master Lin was really mentally hit because all the people of Immortal Palace Lin were ungrateful. They were also ungrateful. Master Lin tearfully said that it was all thanks to Master Nifin, otherwise he would not have seen his ungrateful people. Qin asked Master Lin not to be gloomy because he had good news for Master Lin. Of course, Master Lin was curious about what gift Qin was referring to. It was the Shining Ancestor inscription. Maybe they would be able to rebuild the relationship between the ancestors of Immortal Palace Lin. Moving into the cave where the monster pig lived, he was seen sitting with some other monsters to eat. The monster pig said that although Day was a bit stingy, it was still a gift from him and Master Nifin. The bird and the snake belittled the pig's gift. They said maybe for the monster pig it was the little happiness he got from mustard greens. The pig monster shouted that it was just jealous of him. Miss Day thought of him and even gave him a mission. He passed through death and was struck by lightning. How could they just give him a mustard? It turned out that it was not happiness that the monster pig felt, it was sadness. He had gone through a catastrophe, even burning his hand. In return, he was only given such ordinary mustard greens. He cried even louder, saying Silver Moon Demon King said he was trash. Now even Miss Day did not want him. The pig monster felt very frustrated with his situation. Snake asked the pig monster not to be sad because he still had hands that smelled good. The monster pig became even more upset. He shouted that their words did not make him feel comfortable at all. Annoyed, he took a bite of the mustard and chewed on it. Suddenly, something happened to the pig monster. His body glowed, which made them all surprised. The pig monster realized that it was a vortex of spiritual Kai. Slowly, the monster pig's body evolved and its cultivation rose, causing the monsters he was with to instantly fall silent. The pig looked like a pig man. They then looked at the table where the mustard was placed. They realized that it was mustard that was filled with Tao energy. Slowly, Bird and Squirrel Lady swallowed the remains of the mustard, and suddenly their bodies felt spiritual ki overflowing from their bodies. They were completely amazed by the ki within their bodies. The pig monster coolly said that it wasn't just spiritual ki. As the Silver Moon Demon King's chef, he knew it. Even though it had only bitten into the mustard once, it felt the subtlety of the mustard. Because of this, the monster pig, the squirrel woman, and the bird decided to become vegetarians together. Looking at the three of them, the snake was curious. He wondered how vegetables could be compared to meat. The snake tried to bite the remaining mustard greens on the table, but suddenly, the other three monsters were behind him, watching. They asked if the snake was trying to steal. The pig monster was upset because he had risked his life to get it. He did not want to share it with the others. Seeing the pig monster angry made the snake instantly mentally hit, unable to say anything, and could only open his mouth wide. In the Valley of Green Clouds, an ancestral inscription in the family of the Valley of Green Clouds shone. They wondered if they could reconnect with their lost ancestors. Guzi and Ziyu were seen standing in front of the stele. Guzi said that in order to summon the ancestors, they would have to sacrifice blood. She was afraid they would get into a lot of trouble and end up with nothing. Ziyu looked at his sister with concern. Suddenly, there was a voice telling them not to worry. It was the voice of Master Chengking, who had just arrived there. He said it had been more than hundreds of thousands of years. The path of immortality had been cut off, and for the first time the ancestral inscription was shining. With a serious face, Master Chengking said that now was the only chance they had to become immortals. Guzi was worried about her father as he was still injured from the battle a few days ago. Master Chengking hurried to summon the ancestors of the Valley of Green Clouds. They only needed to use the blood of the successor line. But if he could reconnect with the immortal, then his sacrifice would be worth it. Master Chengking then injured his hand, and red liquid soaked the inscription. Ziyu, who was curious, asked if they succeeded. Suddenly from the sky appeared a bright beam of light that illuminated the inscription. Master Chengking was surprised to see something which turned out to be his ancestor actually coming. A very old person greeted Master Chengking. Seeing his ancestor actually appear made Master Chengking sad because happy. Master Chengking called his ancestor grandfather, and it seemed that the ancestor was indeed Master Chenking's grandfather. Guzi and Ziyu were surprised to learn that it was their great-grandfather. The ancestor touched Master Chenking's head as a sign of caring. Meanwhile, Ziyu and Guzi immediately bowed in greeting. Ancestor was happy that his great-grandfather had come to see him. Ancestor also asked about the whereabouts of Master Chenking's father. Master Chengking told him everything, if his father had died 3,000 years ago. When the path of immortality was cut, the Valley of Green Clouds lost all the support they had gotten from the immortals. The demons took advantage and planned to destroy the seal and harm the mortals. Although his father had suppressed them, his insight had been lost. They talked about some other things. Master Chengking also recounted that there had been some incidents during the demon locking ceremony. He was lucky that there was an expert to help him. Of course, Master Chenking's ancestors were a little clueless as to what expert was being referred to. Master Chengking said with some hesitation he was afraid that the expert was a saint. Ancestor laughed at that. Was Master Chengking the unintelligent person? Did Master Chengking think there was a saint in the mortal world? How could that be possible? Ancestor told him that saints were just a legend. Even in the immortal world, they only appeared in ancient times. Ziyu tried to back up what his father said. He told his ancestor that what his father said was true. Ziyu said that this saint was extraordinary. The story the saint told about the journey to the west contained great wisdom. The porridge he cooked contained Tao that could make people break through easily. The paper crane that could eliminate demons. Even the scrolls he wrote could kill the Liu family ancestors with ease. That saint was extremely extraordinary. Master Cheng King's ancestors were known as Ancestor Gu. Ancestor Gu thought that his grandson was just as unintelligent as their father. Master Cheng King defended but also demeaned his son at the same time. He said that although his son was unintelligent, easily tricked, had low cultivation, and had no positive traits at all, what he said was true. Ancestor Gu just laughed in response. Holding up a scroll, Guzi asked his great-grandfather to believe in him. The saint or expert handed him a painting. After seeing it for himself, Ancestor Gu would know that he and his father were not lying. Innocently, Zaiyu opened the painting and showed it to his great-grandfather. But unexpectedly, what came out of the painting was a huge attack that struck Ancestor Gu until he disappeared. For a moment, they were all silent as they tried to process what had happened. But afterward, Master Cheng King cried out in fear. Guzi hit and scolded her unintelligent younger brother. Zaiyu just cried and apologized for doing that unintentionally. Not long after, an ancestral voice warned Master Cheng King to close the painting again, otherwise he would be lost forever. Zaiyu looked at the painting for a moment and cried out in tears, apologizing for doing so. The voice of Ancestor Gu sounded very enthusiastic, asking to be called back. Master Cheng King felt a little hesitant as he needed quite a lot of successor blood to summon the ancestor. Suddenly, behind Master Cheng King was Zaiyu, who admonished his father with his dark face. Why didn't his father stop his words for a moment, whereas Master Cheng King had already happily turned his head to say whether Zaiyu was willing to replace him? All Zaiyu did was say that his father still had one more hand while showing a sword. Master Cheng King froze in disbelief. He thought Zaiyu would replace him, but instead asked him to use the blood in his other hand. Having no other choice, Master Cheng King ended up using the blood on his other hand. He looked extremely pale and faint from being drained of blood. Ancestor Gu laughed happily. He couldn't believe such a divine presence appeared in the mortal world. Zaiyu unintelligently opened the painting once more so that his great-grandfather could see it clearly. Of course, the great-grandfather was annoyed by Zaiyu's brainless behavior. He asked his great-grandson to stop if he wanted to finish himself off. Seeing the great-grandfather's anger made Zaiyu shrink in fear. Ancestor Gu cleared his throat and said he could feel it without even seeing it. Guzi wondered what his great-grandfather was really feeling. With an enthusiastic glare, Ancestor Gu said that the painting, he stopped saying it because Master Cheng King was also enthusiastically asking him what he felt from the painting. With a chuckle, Ancestor Gu said that he felt the painting was good. Master Cheng King and Guzi made flat faces as Ancestor Gu's answer did not match their expectations. Meanwhile, Zaiyu looked very enthusiastic. He told his great-grandfather that he thought the painting was good. Master Cheng King looked annoyed, telling his ancestor that he had used a lot of blood from his body, but the ancestor was talking nonsense. Ancestor Gu said that the painting was no ordinary painting. Zaiyu was really chatty and chimed in on what his great-grandfather was talking about, whether the painting contained a sense of Tao. His great-grandfather confirmed and also blamed Zaiyu. He went on to say that such a heavenly painting was a very precious treasure. It was not about a sense of Tao, but divine adhesion. Master Cheng King and his two sons were surprised to hear this. Ancestor Gu continued, in other words, the painting had a soul, which meant it was a living thing. Once again, Master Cheng King and Guzi were shocked at the fact that it was a living thing. Ancestor Gu was curious about the picture inside. Naively, Zaiyu grabbed the painting and said to let him open the painting for his great-grandfather. Annoyed by his grandson's increasingly brainless behavior, he immediately hit Zaiyu until he flew and was thrown. Master Cheng King said that what was painted inside was a three-legged raven. The expert said it was also called the three-legged golden raven. Ancestor Gu was surprised to hear that it was the three-legged golden raven. Ancestor Gu confirmed whether Master Cheng King was sure about it. Since Ancestor Gu did not believe him, Master Cheng King grabbed the painting with his mouth as his hand was injured from the summoning ceremony earlier. He intended to open the painting and show it to Ancestor Gu to see for himself if he did not believe. Without further ado, Ancestor Gu immediately sent Master Cheng King flying. Ancestor Gu was unsure because even the Almighty in heaven had only ever heard of the bird, as the three-legged golden raven was a bird from ancient times. Ancestor Gu concluded that whether it was actually a painting indicated that the expert had existed from ancient times until now. With a dark look on his face, Ancestor Gu said that it was big news. He had to report to Master immediately. Ancestor Gu called out to Master Chanking, and immediately Master Chanking got up and asked what his grandfather's orders were. Ancestor Gu said that as Master Chanking knew, each generation produced strong men. The competitive pressure was very high. In the current situation, being intimate with the Almighty was more important than working hard in cultivation. So there were many people who were trying to get close to the Almighty, in other words, currying favor. Master Chanking would not succeed by working hard alone. Hearing Ancestor Gu's advice made Master Chanking and his two sons say, was it all about how to gain profit? Ancestor Gu then laughed and said that he should go back and report this. Hearing that his grandfather was about to return made Master Chanking say that he had something to say. Master Chanking said that the expert wanted a flying beast. Ancestor Gu thought that he should at least get a divine beast. It was normal that if he could not get a proper beast in the mortal world, that he would choose and bring one from heaven. Master Chanking and his two children learned that Ancestor Gu could bring a divine beast bird. Ancestor Gu laughed and said that if it was for the sake of the expert's happiness, he could also give their great-grandmother to the expert. With this, Ancestor Gu took his leave, while Master Chanking and his two children said their goodbyes. Ancestor Gu turned around and said that he was really leaving. They just waved their hands. But Ancestor Gu still did not leave and asked if they were not worried about him. The question left the three of them confused as to what their ancestor meant. Ancestor Gu said that if the painting was so important, he felt uncomfortable. Master Chanking said unwillingly, why did grandfather not just take it with him? Without further ado, after just a split second, Ancestor Gu grabbed the painting and walked away with a big smile without feeling guilty. Seeing his grandfather's antics made Master Chanking distressed. Moving on to an extremely beautiful place in the Heaven of Green Cloud sect. Ancestor Gu had arrived in a hurry. Someone reprimanded Ancestor Gu and said that Ancestor Gu was in a hurry. Ancestor Gu only said that there was a big problem. The woman who reprimanded him earlier said that she had heard that one of the Almighty descended and his body was in the mortal world. But it seemed like Ancestor Gu was not going to talk about that. Ancestor Gu was greeted by beautiful women. Ancestor Gu said that if he came with good news, he wanted to share it with all of them. All the women were curious about what Ancestor Gu would give them. Ancestor Gu said that he knew someone who was a great expert, and it turned out that the expert wanted a bird to ride. If he liked and chose one of them, then good fortune would come to them, and it would be countless. Some beautiful women who seemed to be embodiment of some legendary birds asked what they should do should they become the master's wives. Ancestor Gu said that it was not like that, they would only be mounts. They were silent for a moment and then burst out laughing because Ancestor Gu was so funny. Ancestor Gu said that the expert was an ancient almighty who lived in the mortal world. His words contained power and even drew a three-legged golden raven. The expert was an ancient almighty. Not just any person could become his ride. If he was not human and could become a ride, did they think he would give them that opportunity? Suddenly a voice interrupted, saying if indeed such a golden opportunity arose, she would show her deepest respect to Ancestor Gu. There was a woman lying on a tree. The woman continued she did not want Ancestor Gu to feel that she was superior or not want to be friends. The sect master would be angry if he found out. The other woman said she would listen to what the Phoenix woman said. The woman then jumped into the air and transformed into a bird of fire, then returned to her human form. The Phoenix lady asked if they were brave enough to go to the mortal world and have a little fun. Ancestor Gu chuckled and said that the Phoenix ladies knew the rules as expected of Phoenix descendants. All the women asked to be sent, but Master Gu refused. Phoenix woman was upset and asked Ancestor Gu to tell her who would be a good match for the ancient almighty. With a questioning expression, Ancestor Gu just laughed. Cut to a sun-spiritual lake. Knifin was seen fishing on a boat together with Day. The silence between them made Knifin mutter inwardly. He could even hear the sound of his heartbeat. Was this what was called a date? Because he had never dated a girl before, it was very confusing for him. Knifin returned to Day was mesmerized by her beauty. Nefin felt that if Day was completely focused, then she would not dare to speak. If she disturbed her, would Day think that he really was annoying? Day realized that she was being stared at by Nefin, so she gently reprimanded Nefin. Day asked if there was something wrong with the way she was fishing. She felt that she was not very good at it. Nefin had taught her many times, but she still did not know how to fish properly. Day begged Nefin not to be angry with her. Day slowly stood up and surprised Nefin. Nefin asked Day not to stand up, but it was too late. Their rowing boat was rocking, which caused them to lose their balance. Just as Day was about to fall, Nefin caught her. Gently, Nefin helped Day to stand up. She said that it was very dangerous. What if Day fell? Day just apologized to Nefin. It turned out that there were people who were looking for fish there. The man reprimanded Nefin for making small talk, but all he did was interrupt their romantic scene. The man asked if he was disturbing Nefin. Nefin and Day were surprised to hear that. Nefin and Day felt embarrassed and awkward. Simultaneously, Nefin and Day said that the man was not interrupting. Nefin, who had returned to his boat, admonished the man. He said that the person's appearance was becoming even more attractive, and it turned out that the person was the fishmonger that Nefin often met. The fishmonger said that he heard that there were many people who saw the spiritual sunfish, so he came every day to catch it, which made him lose weight. However, he had no idea that the fish was really smart. He had never even caught one. It seemed that the fishmonger's net was still not filled at all. Nefin also said that he thought there was something wrong with the fish. The fishmonger enthusiastically asked if Nefin knew how to fish. Showing his big net full of fish, Nefin said he knew a little about fishing. He was bored at home, so he spent some time learning. The fishmonger was struck by the sight of Nefin's net full of fish. The fishmonger raised his voice saying, how could knowing a little fishing help Nefin catch that many? Wasn't that too many? Nefin sighed to confirm it, so he thought it was too weird. Those fish were crazy. His bait could get a line full of fish. Wasn't that too weird? Nefin asked the fishmonger, and wasn't the fishmonger also thinking that it was very strange? Still in shock, the fishmonger did not answer Nefin's question and said to himself, it seemed like the perception of weirdness between the two of them was completely different. Nefin wondered if there was a spell or something in this lake. It turned out that all the weirdness Nefin was experiencing was due to the pig monster and the squirrel lady. The pig monster said he had ordered the fish in the lake to bite Master Nefin's bait, and the fish would work hard to be caught by Master Nefin. The squirrel lady praised the pig monster for doing a good job. Meanwhile, back to Nefin, who offered fish to the fishmonger. Why not bring some of the fish he had caught? The fishmonger refused and did not want to accept, but Nefin insisted. He said that if he had caught a lot of fish, bringing it back was also a bit of a hassle. It would be better if they shared it. By accepting some of the fish Nefin gave him, the fishmonger asked if Nefin would come back. Nefin confirmed it. This lake was indeed strange. If there really was a spell, it was fine. But if there were monsters, he could not do anything. There might be danger coming. With a look at Day, Nefin worried about Day. If there really was a monster, Day could be in danger. The fishmonger laughed, saying that Master Nefin liked to joke around. He often went fishing there, and there were no problems so far. He had no idea how Nefin knew how to row a canoe. Suddenly, something startled the fishmonger. The fishing net that Nefin had given them slipped away as if dragged by something. They also noticed a whirlpool that made them panic instantly. The fishmonger was in a panic. He had no idea how Master Nefin's words could come true. Day offered to paddle the canoe, but Nefin was a gentleman. He told Day not to worry, they would be fine. Nefin grabbed the fishmonger into his canoe so they could be in the same boat. Deep down, Nefin said that he was lucky. The garbage system had taught him how to paddle. Holding his paddle, Nefin told himself to maintain his alignment and balance the boat, paddling along with the direction of the vortex so that he could match its speed. He tried to focus, calm down, and wait for the right time. When he felt it was the right time, Nefin paddled with all his might, which made the canoe jump and successfully land on the edge of the lake. The fishmonger praised Nefin for being so amazing. Nefin was grateful that he had learned how to row a boat. The fishmonger was even more surprised at such an amazing thing, and Nefin said there was nothing. Nefin just gave a thumbs up and laughed. Day then said that something was strange because now the vortex had disappeared. The fishmonger also noticed it and realized that nothing seemed to be happening. They wondered what was going on with this sun's spiritual lake. On the other side of the lake, suddenly Master Mufing and King Yun were seen. King Yun asked her father if Master Mufing had said that there were relics of the Almighty within this sun-spiritual lake. As of today, there had already been 4 appearances of relics in a month, and all of them were very strange. She had never seen a relic appear multiple times in 1 month. King Yun felt that something was wrong. King Yun said her silly speculation was whether this all had something to do with Master Nifin. Master Mufing said that he heard that the Liu family had been eliminated and their ancestors had been wiped out. Even the sky had sword marks and the heavens reappeared. Excitedly, Master Mufing said, "Who else has that kind of power but Master Nifin?" With tears, Master Mufing continued, "This rotten world did not deserve Master Nifin. Perhaps Master Nifin had gone to heaven and they would never see Master Nifin again." While he was grieving because he thought he would never see Master Nifin again, he was surprised by King Yun, who saw Nifin's whereabouts and showed him to her father. He was so happy that Master Mufing flew straight to Nifin. Seeing his father leave like that made King Yun ask if they would still search for the Almighty's relics. Master Mufing replied, "Who cares, and would go to such a dangerous place when he could meet Master Nifin." Back to Nifin, who was being greeted by the fishmonger, who was about to return. After the fishmonger left, Nifin asked Day to go back home because the lake was scary. He no longer wanted to face danger. But suddenly something appeared behind Nifin and surprised him. It turned out to be Master Mufing and King Yun. They greeted each other, and then Master Mufing asked why Nifin was at the lake. Was Nifin interested in the Almighty's relics? Nifin tensed up a bit hearing about the relics of the Almighty. He had no idea if it was a treasure inheritance commonly found through RPG games and novels. Excited and very curious, he said that he was interested. Nifin realized that the vortex he had been in earlier was caused by the appearance of the Almighty Realm. Master Mufing said that he and King Yun had come to look for the relic. Master Mufing suggested that since Master Nifin was interested, why not go together? Nifin replied he was indeed interested. But with a strange face, Nifin asked Master Mufing, who also had a strange face, would it be dangerous on the journey? With confidence, Master Mufing said that Master Nifin seemed to be joking around. Since they were traveling together, any danger was nothing to them. Nifin excitedly told them to leave immediately. Master Mufing misinterpreted what Master Nifin meant. Master Mufing thought that because Master Nifin was there, everything would be fine, and Nifin thought Master Mufing would protect him. Master Mufing looked around and said that it was too late at night. Monsters would be stronger at night and relics would not be safe. Nifin suggested going tomorrow and also that he was not in a rush. Master Mufing understood and they would go tomorrow. Nifin advised them to find a nearby place to rest, where they camp. He had some equipment. Nifin took out a miniature boat in his hand. He said that he had previously completed a task and the system gave him a boat. Nifin threw the boat into the water and it became bigger. Nifin said that the size was safe enough to stop at the edge of the lake. Master Mufing and King Yun were amazed by the ship, as it was all as expected from Master Nifin. Not only the boat, Nifin also took out all the things he had, from beds, cooking utensils, and others. Nobody knew where it all came from. With a smile, Nifin asked Day to make a lot of things with what they had for the night. By smiling, Day would surely follow everything Nifin told her. Seeing all the things Nifin put out, Master Mufing and King Yun were stunned, as Master Nifin was an incomprehensible being who was immortal. They started the preparations and everything else. After a while, the night was getting quieter and there was no movement at all, which seemed like everyone had fallen asleep. Above the lake, 2 monsters were flying. The Mouse Man asked his colleague, the Horned Man, if that was the place of the Almighty's relics. The Horned Man confirmed it. The energy released from the lake was a little strange. Tomorrow morning there would be many cultivators coming to collect it. That was why they had to take it out tonight. As they were discussing, 3 people appeared from behind them saying that the Horned Man and Rat Man should think twice. Did they think they could do it with their current abilities? They were Zheng Tai, Lolly, and Yu Ji. Horned Man replied that it seemed like they had the same thoughts. Lolly replied that the earlier they came, the greater the chance of getting the relic. The Horned Man sighed and then said, if that was the case, it was better for them to immediately fight with their strength. The Horned Man immediately attacked towards the lake and found an obstacle. Of course, it surprised him. Yuji said that there were 3 barriers before reaching the relic. and the one just now was the first barrier. If the horned man had enough strength and was unable to destroy the first barrier, he would most likely be counterattacked. Indeed, a golden dragon suddenly came out of the lake and floated in the air, shocking both the mouse man and the horned man. As the attack was aimed at the horned man, the rat man blocked the attack with his body, causing the rat man to be injured.